Hello there everyone and welcome back. We have managed to make it to level 2 and unlock our first cruiser, although that was really just the easy part. Being able to control my auroras really easily because I only have 2 ships to micromanage, so things are going to get a lot more complicated, especially as we unlock the cruiser here. And as you've probably clearly seen, I have chosen to go with the torpedo variant, the basic Shadow. And my justification for this is I'd rather play the Eldar a little more aggressively and more importantly because going with the bombers I don't think synergizes with anything I have right now. It's possible to use as like a secondary fleet, kind of like how my Battle Barge Mark II and Vanguards have been sort of like their own secondary fleet, so there's a possibility for that, but as it stands right now, I don't think it's going to work as I would like. Not until I unlock everything else. Although I will say, if things don't go well with this variant, then I am more than happy to switch it over to the Curio, or what is it, the Curio pattern? What the hell is that? Kurnos pattern. Because this is probably the overall better ship, just because it's a lot more versatile and a lot more effective, especially at long range. So I'm willing to admit that now, but I want to play the Eldar aggressively, and since we're only on day 2, I don't quite know their limitations just yet. But how I'm going to go about playing such an aggressive playstyle, while Fall's maneuver is going to help with my mobility and dodging potentially, but I am thinking of grabbing the Wraithbone reinforcement to get in nice up close and personal with my torpedo runs, especially if this thing is fighting another cruiser or a battle cruiser, potentially even a battleship later on down the road. And its cooldown lines up really nicely for if I were to brace for impact. This should give me potentially 95 armor. I don't know if it works that way considering I'm getting the armor from an ability as opposed to just the passive traits of the ship itself, so I am a little bit worried that the brace for impact will not stack with the Wraithbone reinforcement, but I'm willing to give this a try. But even with that said, it's still going to be really damn difficult to synergize this with the Aurora, so I might instead get a bunch of frigates in. Well, either way, I have the points to get an Aurora as well as a frigate, so in the end it comes down to what I'm up against, I think, as to whether I want more frigates to escort this or just go with an Aurora and a Hemlock. Both are well, having the extra boarding, the extra skill and power, as well as the extra health, probably would be better. At least with the Auroras anyway, so it doesn't die, and at least do a Nova Cannon in a single shot. But the first day was a surprising success, I'm not gonna lie. When I was practicing with the Auroras, it has felt hit or miss, but again, I am trying to figure them out and learn their limitations, as it were. Because Eldar is all about understanding your adversary and trying to outsmart them. More than likely, because I am trying to dodge the projectiles, try and take advantage of things like the Overlord's rate of fire, which is the most obvious example, when I try and do my attack runs. So, we may not be using the cruiser for this match though, because we're looking at 330 points. You know what lines up perfectly with that? 3 Auroras. And we're fighting against Chaos too, so this could be a good thing for me. Could be. It depends what kind of ships he's fielding. Because normally, Chaos like to have a lot of lances, so you would think I'd be in good shape initially. But he's probably going to have that prepared. And with 30 points, what does that tell me? Is he level 4? I seriously doubt that's him at level 3, Admiral. So I should expect him to potentially have a battle cruiser. Oh, and he's already giving in. That's a good start, don't you think? Chaos of all people already trembling in fear just at the sight of me. Oh well. It's only gonna get worse, I think. If I can... Aw, here it is again. How come when I'm winning with Tau and Space Marines consistently, that no one wants to rage about them, huh? Oh well. In the end of the day, we're just going to make them feel even worse, I think. And with only a small nebula cloud form utilized. This works well for me. So, we got 3 light cruisers, and this clearly... Okay, he's got bombers, so this could be a concern. Bombers can be a problem. I can easily fall some maneuver away to give me time to shoot him down, but I don't have the defenses I need, and latency is kind of noticeable as well. I'm seeing a little bit of skipping. So that's going to be pretty damn significant if I die to latency. So, how do we want to gauge? First, we got to keep on moving, damn things. Keep on moving, make sure I don't fly into a mine, and try and figure out my priority. I'm probably going to kill the Hellbringer first, so it comes down to which one is the Hellbringer. Probably the one in front, but I should be able to tell their speed. Oh, he could he could actually have 2 cruisers, couldn't he, with 300 points? I'm trying to think. I honestly don't know the points, but if he has bombers, he seriously can't have the points for 2 cruisers with bombers, right? Aren't the Carnages, or whatever they're called, actually over 150 points, so he can't clearly have 2 cruisers. And we kind of got our answer, I think, because I think this one on the right is kind of pulling ahead. So, the further away it gets from me, the better, quite frankly. It gives me more freedom to shoot at this cruiser, but I can't do my torpedo runs just yet. Not until I know those fighters are on cooldowns, and maybe shoot down some of those fighters would be useful too. So we're going to start boosting up a little bit here. He's probably already going to consider warping out, so I certainly hope not, but he's already got the attitude of forfeiting. That much is certain. And he is turning around, so... Actually, let's use this as an opportunity to strike at the Hellbringer. Yep, there goes the fighters. So we're going to deal with these bombers first, and then we'll go in for an attack run. A nice aggressive attack run. Do I seriously consider a silent run or not? Because he is... Yeah, I could just silent run 1 ship. It kind of sucks that it took me so long to really consider that option, to be fair, but now I have a nice window to shoot. Unless he wants to jam me as well. Okay, he is dodging and trying to stall. Okay, we got fission. He's got favors. And I don't think I want to get that aggressive just yet, because, yeah, they are moving. Okay, I unintentionally hit the cruiser. That was not my intention at all, but I will take that. And, yeah, this latency is not comfortable. That was unintentional, but I'll happily take it. He already given up there. Hell. Can I brag that was so effective that I unintentionally just crippled his cruiser in an instant? That wasn't even my target, and yet it nearly died in an instant. That's how effective those torpedoes could be for you. And let's keep in mind, folks, he had 4 fighter waves available. 4 whole fighter waves. And yes, I did have a level 5 and a level 8 Eldar fleet there. Although, it's been months, many months, I think, before I even last played Eldar, before preparations for this video series here. Because the level 8, I think, that was my original one, where I did my 5 videos for Eldar, and then I just played 2v2 shortly after to get to level 8. And that one other one that was level 5, I think, I actually did try playing 1v1s with it, but that, again, was months ago. Many months ago, I believe, so... I still don't want to say I have a good idea how to play Eldar, but we definitely got the fear factor already, as much as it's gonna hurt me emotionally having to put up with all this rage. I'm not gonna lie. I'd rather they rage at me after I demolish them horribly, because they're either playing poorly or not very optimally. Because like that Imperial Navy player, let's be fair, I just strictly abused his ships. His one overlord. He decided to go infest all his eggs into one ship, and I just countered that without without even trying really. I just used my own strategy against them. It doesn't even matter what ships I used. Even the Solarises could have abused that if they just are not really effective in close as due to lack of torpedoes. And of course, alright. It's potentially time for a real match maybe? Because I actually encountered that Chaos player multiple times. One of which, he actually accidentally conceded the match to me rather than just Alt F4 entirely, so I managed to get the experience I so deserved from that first match where he's been thoroughly embarrassed. Although, it's a little bit disheartening having someone like that just ruining the game for everyone. I don't think it's just Eldar he has an issue with. I'm going to make a wild assumption there, but I have the points because of his higher level to again go with the 3 Auroras, and it's probably not a terrible idea considering we're fighting Space Marines and I'm also the attacker. So, this could be good as far as shooting down the convoy, because what, 300 points, he can easily have 2 strike cruisers, so if anything, I would want him to have the strike cruisers. That just means he has less mobility to dodge my torpedoes, quite frankly. Still have to contend with 600 health, but it's a good way to ruin his strike cruisers in a hurry if he decides to go top heavy as well. Especially since, while the bombardment cannons are dangerous, there's still, what is it? Excuse me, a 15-second cooldown, just like with the Overlord. Although that thing is a turret, so it's a little bit hard to avoid there, unless I just directly run away, but still, I'm feeling good about this prospect. Now it's just a question, how do I want to do this match? Do I go after the convoy, prioritize that? Or just kill the strike cruisers and demoralize him and make him another victim of the terror that is Eldar apparently? If that Chaos player is any indication. Let's see, well, we kind of already know where his ships are. We know exactly where the convoy is pretty much, so. And it is definitely looking like 2 strike cruisers. So, if I'm going to get to the convoy, I go straight through him. Okay, and he is firing beacons, so we're just going to side strafe that quickly. That'll be easy enough to do. Eldar's got like the best mobility. Although it's something I'm going to have to learn to not prematurely use my boost to try and getting closer quicker, because that could catch me off guard with the random beacon. So, let's get everything in position. Okay, he's boosting everything, so we're going to have to make this quick, I guess. Quick and incredibly painful. Oh, and he does have strike cruisers, so. Can I hit him with torpedoes? Yep. He fell for the gambit. That is the boarding attempt. 1 ship down. Let's deal with the R1 quickly. And actually, let me brace for impact with everything, because that would be for that reason there. It's a shame I didn't do that earlier. And he does have Thunderhawks. So which one is he going after? Oh, he's going after the one right here. So, I'm going to have to shoot down those Thunderhawks a little bit. Okay, torpedoes are a nice hit. I got some extra boarding. Kill this thing nicely and quickly. Ooh, and I even have torpedoes ready, so. Yes, Commander, we obey. Ooh, flawless. Unfair, maybe, but let's be fair. He literally was asking for me to shoot him with torpedoes. I'm sorry, fella. Eldar are a bit of a glass can, but you basically have a free lock-on with that bombardment cannon should it ever hit me. So there is a little bit of balance in the force there. But still, at least he's not as bad as the other fella. I just hate the fact that I had to get through his ships if he wanted me to kill his convoy instead. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying. It doesn't... If you're looking at this as a non-Eldar player, it definitely does seem unfair, doesn't it? But hell, again, I will point out, he just flew into my torpedoes, for crying out loud. And if I say it once, I say I probably said 1,000 times, do not dare underestimate these torpedoes. If anything, they're like the easiest thing to avoid out of all of the Eldar arsenal, quite frankly. Once I start getting up to my battle cruisers and maybe my battleship, then we'll have a different story there. Because since the pulsars are not in a line like the Aurora currently is, they're more side by side, these things could actually miss against something that's really small, say like a frigate for example. And I guess that's part of the reason why when I was fielding frigates as Space Marines, that seemed to have worked amazingly well. Even with like all the bombers he had, because I had been utilizing Vanguards with the Stormhawks to kind of negate a lot of his bombing damage. Mind you, the Eldar players I played against were not exactly the best of the best, but hell, if I can win what seems easily against even just a generic Eldar player, you think most other people would have fair some luck, right? Maybe not so much against the best, the ones who are favored and got all the upgrades, mind you, but hell, if I learned anything, those are far and few between, so not much else I could say on that matter. Aside for the fact that if I had the choice, I would rather fight Eldar more than actually play as them. But after playing Tau and Space Marines for a long period of time, I barely even encountered them. And I was starting to figure them out against, as Tau a little bit, but again, if I had gone with more lighter and more emphasis on my Castellans, maybe I could have actually won those relatively well as well. Hard to say, but we gotta get some experience on this damn thing eventually. So what would be good against this thing? Torpedoes seems to do amazingly well against Tau because of how wide they are. Is that gonna be ideal? Because let me get some Hellborns. I can afford these three, so I'll get my torpedoes at least, and they can combo well with the Shadow. I just lack effective pulsars really to get through the shields and just add a follow-up damage. Although the Starcannons will actually be pretty useful against the frigates if I choose to go after them instead, but I think it's safe to say torpedoes are better meant against Tau. Ooh, and I forgot it was a breakthrough. I guess I was so distracted and distraught by the chaos bickering and bitching that I've lost my sense of looking at objectives now, but oh well. It's something a little bit different anyway. And we'll have the frigates go as a pack, because until I can really understand these, I think I want to try and simplify my control some, because trying to manage all three of these separate, at least through hotkeys, is probably not recommended. But it still could be effective, I just gotta be careful of boarding, since the Tau actually don't have lightning strikes available to them. But with the Breakbone reinforcement, I should actually let this open up and take the railgun fire for me. So let it take point. We're gonna bust our way through. That's the hope anyway. I just gotta be mindful when he's about to fire at me. And also figure out which one's the dang light cruiser or even regular cruiser, because I'm only seeing 3 ships, so he may have just a protector, or I'm not entirely sure. Either way, let's go unload. Yep, it is a protector. And he's got the memo there a little bit. He's gonna turn right into him. Do I fight? Where are my other torpedoes? Okay. I was wondering where my torpedoes were. Although my other Hellborn was kind of out of the way. Oh. I should have set it to move further, but it's a good start at least. Soaked a lot of damage, now I just gotta finish it off somehow. Get them out, because yeah, this thing's dying incredibly fast because of the railguns. It had promise. Amazing damage, but this thing's just dying immediately. But he is ignoring the frigates. So if I could keep pounding this and keep hitting with frigates... Yeah, this thing could die. Yeah, that thing just died. Holy crap. So, that gambit did pay off there. I kind of need a good effective escape plan, though, I think it's safe to say. Because that thing took a lot of damage as soon as it made its escape. That 200 health alone made things complicated. So just get on out, buy some time, dodge these, deal with these seeker missiles before I worry about engaging the rest of his fleet, quite frankly.
The void is our home now.
Oh yeah, he's got 2 Castellans, so that's probably not going to happen. Although I can still deal with these seeker missiles. I can still deal with these seeker missiles, and he's chosen to ignore the frigates, which probably is a bad mistake. Now, what's the priority? Whatever I can hit, really. I want to avoid giving this thing hit, but I'm about to get my brace for impact and all that up, so... In a moment, this will all be rectified. So long as I stop getting hit by dang seeker missiles, because, to be honest, the Wraithbone reinforcement can be useful for that too, can't it? Oh well, I could play the waiting game, quite frankly, because I have more health to repair, and he's practically took none, so... I don't have to rush this. So let's just reload, get the repairs and everything going. And we'll get ready to deal with these dang railguns and seeker missiles shortly. So, let's just hide ourselves over at the gas cloud. Because I can. And we'll put some pressure on them. If I really want to, I could just silent run with these ships. To deal with his seeker missiles that way. So, with the silent run active, let's try and abuse that if nothing else. Because repairs are coming up. His beacon's coming up, because once those frigates die, this game's already over. I'm just gonna... Oh, let me turn that off too. Like I said, that's a bit problematic. I don't like it so much, the focus targeting there. Especially with stuff with nothing but prow weaponry. So, let's try and hit the Castellan, ideally. They still got... Oh, he's gonna hit himself with seeker missiles. Please, do! Aww. Wasn't meant to be. And again, I could just use my Wraithbone reinforcement maybe to help with these seeker missiles. I need to focus on this thing, though. This is the one time where the focus fire is actually useful. Because once one of these things die, maybe I'm okay. Do I get the kill? Nope. Not quite. It was close, but not quite. If nothing else, I would like this thing to live. One Castellan down. And we'll avoid whatever damage we can. Not exactly efficient, but the damage is real, that's for sure. Now, let's finish off this Castellan quickly. Before this thing hopefully gets heavily damaged. Yeah, it's not going to get heavily damaged at least. So I have that going for me.
Yes, Commander, we obey.
Dodge the seeker missiles. This will be over shortly. Although pulsars surprisingly are a little more effective when your ship is like so fragile it's about to die. If I can hit with the torpedoes, that'd be great. Because he may not see him coming. He may be unprepared for a salvo. He shot one of them down, I think.
Yes, Commander, we obey.
So finish him off. Let's end this. Although lock on is not what I had in mind, quite frankly.
We ride the solar winds.
Okay, not heavily damaged? Well, as soon as I say that, it gets heavily damaged. I'm okay with that, though. It was just really a very rough beginning there, going in so headlong against the Tau and not really having much of an escape plan. The damage was immense though, and if that had been like a Dalef or a Borkon like the last episode, that would have ended it immediately. Especially since he was trying to side-strafe me at first and then he turned right back into the torpedoes, so it unfortunately did not pay off for him there in that regard. And despite all the complications we've had, we're finally level 3 at least. Finally level 3, and now it's a question of what the hell do I do with this thing. Because, it's, as I said, it doesn't really have the mobility, at least going in aggressively, to just naturally fly on out. So I'm going to have to think on that. I'm going to hold off on upgrade, because, ooh, we even got ourselves a light cruiser, so we'll add the Solaris in, just so that way I'm not completely screwed if I fight Eldar. And I will just think about what I want there. Aside from the fact I probably want the Dark Star Squadron. Yeah, I would wager, I guess, maybe? Or do I want to go Falls Maneuver for this? Actually, I'll go Falls Maneuver as well. You never know when that thing could be useful.